Oh, what's up? What's up out there, everyone? Boy, week 2 has come and gone, and season of the fan 2016-17 season rolls on. Season 3, season of the fan. I gotta tell you, you talk about night and day differences from this time last year to my video that was very well watched when I went on a rant after the Eagles were 0-2. Just how night and day difference it is going in, from that season, which ended 7-9 and just horrific, to this season. And what did I say before this season? What did I say in the videos where I was talking about what the Eagles are doing in the offseason, the moves that were made? What did I say about that? I said that I understand this game. And I know by watching this game for a number of years what it takes to build a championship caliber team. And the Eagles aren't there just yet, but they're putting the foundation into place, the cornerstone, if you will, to build a championship team. All right? This is exactly what you have to do to build a championship team. You got to build a defense, and you got to have your franchise quarterback. Without that, you're not going to win. If you have one and not the other, you're not going to win. You have teams that are going to point it up on offense every week, but guess what? The defense gives up too many points, and they don't win. You're going to have teams whose defenses are pretty good, but maybe the quarterback just keeps turning the ball over. Not going to win. Okay? The Eagles made a conscious decision this offseason because they knew that Sam Bradford, even though they brought him back, they knew that he just wasn't going to be the future. He was not the quarterback that fits what Doug Pederson and the brain trust of this offense wants to put in place for what they wanted to do. It wasn't going to be Sam Bradford. It just wasn't. Now, if that trade was never made with the Vikings, if Teddy Bridgewater doesn't go down and the Eagles don't make that move and Sam Bradford's here, okay. But we still see what the future is going to be, and it's not going to be Sam Bradford. It's going to be number 11, Carson Wentz, the guy that they moved up all those spots. By the way, thank you, Miami and Cleveland. Moved up all those spots to go get him, to get the guy who they envisioned to be because they watched the tape. They knew his style, how he plays the quarterback position is what they wanted here for this offense. So what happened? So all those moves happened to go up to get Carson Wentz at number 2. And then just before the season, the Eagles trade their starting quarterback, Sam Bradford, to the Vikings. He looked nice this week. You know what? He fits that offense. Okay. He's going to have good games in Minnesota. They have a great defense there. And I know Pederson got hurt, but if he's in there, he got a future Hall of Famer to hand the ball off to. And by the way, they got a pretty nice-looking receiver there in Diggs. I mean, things are looking okay in Minnesota. But you know what? This is about Philadelphia. And the quarterback that fit this offense, in their eyes, was Carson Wentz. That's why they made that bold move just before the season. And oh, by the way, Carson, who didn't get a lot of snaps in the preseason, and really, if you think about it, didn't get a lot of snaps with the first string offenses because going into just before that trade, he was the third string quarterback on the team. He wasn't even number 2. He was number 3. So you're not getting a lot of reps with the first stringers. You're not getting a lot of reps with your starting offensive line. Just not happening. But they believed in the kid. Even though he was coming off the injury with the ribs, they believed in him enough to say, okay, you're our starter. Let's go do it. It was a bold decision by Doug Pederson. It was a bold decision, but you know what we're learning about Doug going into week 3 now? The guy's not afraid to make bold decisions. 5 times already this season they've gone for it on 4th down. And they're 5 for 5. They're the best 4th down offense in the league. The guy has shown some stones so far. Through, being a first-time head coach. He's in full control. He knows what's best for this team, how he wants this offense to run. And guess what? Carson, you're going to be the guy. That's the decision they made the week of the start of the season. So he basically had not even a week to prepare with the first stringers at practice. But Carson is one of those quarterbacks that does a lot of studying, prepares himself, and I think you're seeing that through the first 2 weeks. He had a great game against Cleveland in his first ever NFL start. You kidding me? I mean, he looked like a guy who's been out there for years. And then again, all throughout the week last week, I mean, he's hearing about how great he is, right? All the bouquets are being tossed at him, right? The president even gives him a shout out. I mean, you would think that that's just going to explode his head. And at times, when you see a young quarterback who goes through a week like that, what happens the following game, right? Good amount of times, particularly on the road, and on a Monday night game where everyone's watching you. What typically happens? Yeah, you lay an egg, right? Didn't do that. Came out first series, moved down the field, got a field goal. Probably should have got a touchdown. The red zone offense still is something that's a work in process. It is. I was still yelling at the TV, lob one up. The Dorial Greenback just lob one up there, lob one up there. They still haven't done it. I'm hoping they do, though. Yeah, they still need a little work there. You certainly want to walk away with 7s rather than 3s against the Steelers this week. But we'll get into that game a little later. You know what? Right down the field, they get a field goal. They get points. All right, on the road, hostile environment, Monday Night Football, everyone's watching. The kid looked great. And I know he missed some throws. You know what? Again, hey, look. We know he hasn't looked like a rookie, but he is a rookie. He's got to learn to protect himself a little better, too. He's been taking some hits. But you know what? That's the way the guy plays. I mean, kid's got some stones on him. just how he's in full control of this offense. When you talk about a franchise quarterback, what are you talking about? You're talking about a quarterback who is in full control of the offense, who knows how to read a defense, audibles, changes plays, just gets it, knows what it is to be a quarterback in the National Football League. And that's so far through 2 weeks, that's what we've seen from him. You might say, well, you're an Eagles fan, you're drinking the green Kool-Aid, blah, 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 Listen, I've watched this game a long time, and I know talent when I see it. Not just players that play here, but players who play elsewhere. I know it. And I'm always 100% with you on this channel. When things aren't going right, I'm going to let you know. And when things are going right, I'm going to let you know. And I'm not, getting that gold jacket ready for Carson Wentz, for the Pro Football Hall of Fame after 2 weeks, the way Dallas fans are doing with Dak Prescott right now. I'm not doing that. Because I know the kid still has a lot to learn. And you know what? He's going to learn it. Because that's the work ethic he has. He is showing us in 2 weeks why he was drafted where he was. And by the way, thank you, Rams, for not drafting him. Thank you for taking Jared Goff. Maybe that still works out for them, but I'm glad that Carson came here. By the way, shout out to North Dakota. Shout out to Fargo. I see your Bison beat the Hawkeyes this past Saturday in an upset there in Iowa. Although that's a great program. And here's the other thing. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he went to North Dakota State. What could he do? He didn't go to Alabama or Ohio State. He went to North Dakota. How can he do anything?" That's a pro offense that they run in North Dakota State. Now, it might not be a team that a lot of people know about. They don't get a lot of airtime on TV, on ESPN and whatnot. But that's a team that runs a pro offense. The things that he's doing here, he was doing in North Dakota State. And maybe he's even doing them better here. Maybe some of those throws he's not even trying to make in North Dakota State. They put a graphic up. And I'm sure a lot of you probably saw this. Some of the quarterbacks that came out of that division. You had, guys like, Phil Simms won one Super Bowl, was on the team for the other, was hurt. Hostetler won it. But in '86, almost perfect in the Super Bowl, right? You had Steve McNair. Now, he was pretty good, wasn't he? I mean, all he did was a yard away from winning a Super Bowl with the Titans over the Rams. You had Doug Williams, pretty good quarterback, had a pretty hell of a nice Super Bowl when he won with the Redskins in '87. You had Joe Flacco, played at Delaware, not too far from here. Okay, he's done pretty good for himself, wouldn't you say? Won a Super Bowl. Been in AFC title games. Played pretty well. I'll throw another name out there. Maybe not the same division. Roger Staubach. Where'd he go? Navy. All due respect to Navy, my cousin went to Navy. He went to Annapolis, didn't play football, but he was there. Staubach was one of the all-time great quarterbacks, and he didn't go to an Alabama or an Ohio State or a Michigan or something like that. He went to Navy, okay? If you want to talk about non-quarterbacks, what about Jerry Rice? What about Terrell Owens? What about some of these other greats that didn't go to the big school, right, or the big program? If you can play this game, you can play this game. If you have a mind for it, that's all you need. If you can play, you can play. I don't care where you go, right? You get guys in the NBA who before the rules came in, didn't even go to college, right? Kobe went to where I went, Lower Merion. Didn't go to college. Had a pretty good career for himself in the NBA, though, didn't he? If you can play, you can play. And through 2 weeks, and I don't want to hear it with, oh, it was the Browns and the Bears. The guy is making his first start in the NFL. Okay? His first 2 starts, second of which is on the road, Monday Night Football, everyone's watching, primetime television, ESPN's talking about him before the game. Steve Young, who knows a little something about the quarterback position, was saying, this kid's going to be pretty good. Before and then after the game, and all Carson did was not disappoint. He went out there, he played his game. And yeah, I mean, Jordan Matthews, I mean, that was a bad drop, the touchdown, man, but that was a perfectly thrown pass. Right there. I mean, I don't know. He threw some pretty nice passes against one of the better corners in the game a week ago in Joe Hayden, right? Oh, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. Well, okay, it's the Bears. See, haters gonna hate, man. He beats the Steelers as well. Oh, there's the Steelers. Oh, they don't have the defense that they used to have. You know, there's always gonna be something. People have an agenda. That's all it's gonna be. Okay, that's just how it's gonna be. But the kids look good, and I'll tell you who else has looked good. I said this before, Doug Pederson. I mean, you know what? There was not a lot of fanfare when he came here. There was a lot of people who were nervous because he was part of the Andy Reid tree, and oh, they're just going back to the Andy Reid days. I'll tell you, man, if they get back to those days, going to NFC title games, going to a Super Bowl, hopefully winning it this time, I will take it. Because I don't want to go back to the Chip Kelly years, okay? I will take years of success and being amongst the upper echelon in the league. I'll take that. And if what they're doing this season is, like I said, the foundation, the cornerstone, if you will, to get to that point, thank goodness. Because I've seen the other side of it, and it's not very good. We saw the other side of it a year ago when it was a disaster. As the late, great Stan Hochman would say. And it was pathetic. There was no compete levels in certain games. And to go from that to go to what we have now through 2 weeks, and I understand it's a very small sample of the season. 2 games does not make a season. But you see the difference. And you see the difference in the quarterback play. And you see the difference. I mean, he's raising the game of other players around him, right? Now, yeah, it would be nice for Jordan to not drop the pass at a key moment. But you play with who you have, and to this point, full control of the offense. He's done a great job. Carson has not looked like a rookie. He's looked like a guy who's been around the block a few times in this league, and that's a good thing. That's a great sign for the future. Yes, he has to protect himself a little better. And by the way, it would help if the offensive line can stop with the penalties. Mr. Kelsey. Just a little bit. It would help, certainly. We know it's not a great offensive line, but you know what? Carson's making the best of it. I mean, he's still making his passes, moving around when he has to, taking off. Keeping plays alive with his feet, something that Bradford couldn't do, by the way. Again, quarterback fits this offense. Quarterback, it's the old song, right? One of these things isn't like the other. One of these things does not belong. Well, you have to have the right quarterback in your offense to make the offense run. And yes, the receivers have to catch the ball. Come on, guys. Just a little help. A little bit. I'd like to see them run a little more. I think they have kind of abandoned the run at times. I don't mind watching Carson sling the ball. I mean, I don't. But, a little too much of that, could be a bad thing going forward. So you want to establish a running game. But again, I know they need a little work with the red zone. Other than that, and the drops, other than that, you can't say that much wrong about it. And let's face it, there's not a lot of big names on this offense. There's not like it's a ton of Pro Bowlers over there. It's just, but you know what? They got 29 points a week ago. You get 29 points again this week. And for the most part, they're looking good. The defense, balling out, man. The other thing about this offense, the last 2 weeks, they have dominated time of possession. Boy, when did we see that when Chip was here? See the difference? It's like, that's what it's supposed to be. We forgot that. We forgot what time of possession. Time of possession, what's that? What's time of possession? What's that have to do with anything? Now we know. And you see a defense when they're fresh out there for a full game, not just for the first, quarter. You see the difference. Guys making plays in the second half when you need to make plays, they're making plays. Yeah, they gave up some plays, but you know what? Name me a defense that doesn't give up a few plays in a game, okay? The bottom line is, how many points did you give up? 7. Okay? The other 7 points the Bears got were on a punt return, which I hope not to see too much of with the special teams, because I still think they're one of the better units in the league, if not one of the best. But, that was, it happens, though. What can you do? Defense balled out. They got turnovers at key parts of the game last night in the second half. Big fumble on Cutler, and then Bradham with the big pick. That's what the great defenses do. They get turnovers at the right time. At the key moments of the game, they rise up and get those turnovers, and that's exactly what they've done the first 2 weeks. They've balled out. They have competed. There is that key word for the game, boys and girls, compete. Compete. And that's exactly what they've done. And I know a very small sample point here, only 2 weeks, I get it. It's not like they were going up against the the Montana 49ers the first 2 weeks, but they competed and they made plays in key moments. Guys have balled out. And the thing is, it's not just the stars. The guys come in the rotation. They're making plays. Man, that hit that Tulloch made on Jeffrey after he got that first down yesterday, man, I haven't seen a hit like that all season last year. And I know Jeffrey got the first down, but he paid for it. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what we want to see. Again, in Philly, in Philly fans all over, we love a great defense, right? How many Dawkins jerseys do you see? And Reggie White, right? Jerome Brown, Seth Joyner, Hugh Douglas, Jeremiah Trotter. How many of those jerseys do you see, right? We love great defenses, and as far as Eagles Nation is concerned, and I think we are on the verge, cornerstones in place, of having a great defense down the road. And I can't be more excited about it, because you don't win championships without a great defense, unless you just have one of those all-time just crazy bizarro type seasons. Great defenses help you win. Great defenses also help you become a great team for a number of years, and that franchise quarterback also helps too. Having a good brain trust, coaching staff, front office, taking risks, making moves, not stupid moves, not those beyond Thunderdome Chip Kelly moves. Okay, releasing a Pro Bowler for no apparent reason other than he's just not a good guy. No, that's not what you do. If you have talent on the team, you don't just release it. Okay? I'm happy about this. And as I said before the season, I don't know what the record's going to be. I took a guess. I said, okay, it could be an 8-8, 9-7, 8-8 type of season, maybe 9-7. And it could still be. But I am seeing progress in a very short time. And that I really wasn't expecting to see this quickly But I and the rest of Eagles Nation were seeing that. And I know, I don't know. I just get a feeling that it's going to lead to some great things down the road. Maybe not this season. I mean, look, they're going to compete for the division this season because it's not a great division. I know the Giants are 2-0 and Dallas got to win, against the Redskins. By the way, Kirk Cousins. I'm sure there's a lot of Redskin fans who wish they had Carson Wentz right now, right? You like that? So, yeah. I mean, look, it could be a better division this year. It probably will be. I mean, it's hard to be as bad as it was a year ago. That was just pathetic. Okay? So, yeah, it's probably going to be a bit better this season, but it's still a winnable division, and I think the Eagles will still compete for it, even with the rookie quarterback, even with the rookie head coach and everything like that. If they compete the way they have the first 2 weeks, why not? Okay, why not? Why couldn't they compete for this division? Okay, it's not like we're talking about it's one of those other divisions, like the NFC West or something like that, where it's just you got these two powerhouses and that's all it is. Yeah, it's not like that. It is a winnable division. We'll see. Time will tell. Who knows? Maybe they go on a run. Get a division title, get a home game in the playoffs. You just never know what can happen. Like I said, you know what? But this season is about building. This season is about, the progression of Carson Wentz. This season is about the progression of some of those other players in offense, the defense. It's the progression of it. And so far, so good. I mean, you can't complain much about what we've seen so far. None of us expected this. I mean, maybe some of us had them winning the first two games because the Browns, okay, the Bears haven't been good for a few seasons too, but none of us saw, 29-13, 29-14, or whatever, something like that. None of us saw that, particularly with starting with a rookie quarterback after Bradford got traded. None of us saw this happening, just as good as they've looked. And like I said, it's a breath of fresh air. It just is. You must excuse me for being excited and happy right now because of what I had to watch the last season. Really, most of the, after the great start they got off to the season before, and it just all fell apart after Thanksgiving, and then all of last season. Yeah, I mean, this is better. This is a team that's competing, that's playing with pride and passion. And it's what you want to see as a fan of any team. This is what you want to see. We have a lot to be excited for here. I really strongly believe that. I think we have a lot to be excited about with Carson Wentz. I don't think it's smoke and mirrors or a John Dornbos magic trick that he has played the way he has. Just watching him read a defense alone is just a great sign. And you can say what you want. Vic Fangio is a pretty good defensive coordinator. He brought everything at him last night. Things that he never saw when he was at North Dakota State. Things that he didn't see the week before against Cleveland. And you know what? The kid still played good. They moved the ball down the field. They got points. And you know what else this team hasn't done so far this season? Turnovers. They even said last night that Carson Wentz, one of the first rookie quarterbacks, if not the first rookie quarterback, through his first 2 games, not one turnover. 2 wins, no turnovers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, is it going to go the whole season that way? No, there's going to be turnovers. But one of the big reasons why they've looked so dominant the first 2 weeks, they're not turning the ball over. No fumbles, no interceptions. Good to see. It is. It's great to see. And again, that's how you know the kid's going to be good. Like I said, it is hard to assess talent. One of the hardest things to do is to draft that franchise quarterback, and to have that. It's hard. How many teams have that, right? How many teams can go through their history and say, we were able to get this guy, that guy. It doesn't always work out, but I believe that the Eagles hit on this kid. I really do. I think he's going to be a good one. I said that before the season. I said something tells me about this Carson Wentz. I don't know what it was, but I said just his demeanor, the way he was doing what he was doing with the practice, the extra time he was taking to learn the playbook, all that stuff that goes into making a great franchise quarterback, he was showing early on. And again, you have to do it on the field, but guess what? Now he's done it on the field, first 2 weeks. And who knows what's going to happen this week against Pittsburgh. Look, they're going up a notch. This week against the Steelers. The Steelers look like a team that could be in the Super Bowl this year. And I did have them in the Super Bowl this year, representing the AFC. Look, they're a great team. And they have players who know how to win. They've been there, done that before. The one thing I will say for the Steelers, they haven't won in Philadelphia. The Steelers' record in Philadelphia over the years, even though they don't play here very often, not very good. So maybe that helps the Eagles. I like the fact that it's a home game. And I know the Steelers, look, they're a great team. They're going to play well home or away. But I like the fact that this, some people could call it the first real tough test for Carson Wentz. I like the fact it's at home with the fans, behind him. I like that. What's going to happen in this game? Are the Eagles going to be dominant like they were the first 2 weeks? Look, they're going up against a great, quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. Maybe one of the best receivers in the league. Some call him the best receiver in the league, Antonio Brown. He's upset after that performance a week ago against the Bengals. And D'Angelo Williams, you know what? This is like his last week before Le'Veon Bell comes off the suspension. So, he's going to play hard. I mean, he's played hard all of his career, so why not this week, right? The Eagles' defense has done a pretty good job against the run, though. But they are going up against the best running back that they've seen so far. But, hey, they have a great defensive line. They really do. And I think they have a shot to slow down Williams and to slow down the Steelers' offense. They have a shot to do it because that defensive front, hey, they're no joke. They have played well for the first 2 weeks, and they will play well against the Steelers. The Steelers, it's not like they have this tremendous offensive line that you can't do anything against. I mean, so I do think that the defensive line will hold their own against the Steelers and get some pressure on Big Ben. I know, even though that doesn't matter sometimes with him, but you got to get pressure. You got to get pressure in the point of attack, and I think this defensive line can do that. They have the makeup to do it, and I don't see why they couldn't do it against the Steelers. I think it's going to be a great game. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing, again, the progression of Carson Wentz and this offense. I'd love to see the receivers catch the ball a little more. Hopefully they don't have the case of the drops at the bad time this week. But like I said, man, for the first 2 weeks, you can't be anything but excited about what they're doing. And going into week to week, man, we just have so much to look forward to now that we didn't have a season ago. And that's a great thing. So the Eagles are 2-0. It's much better than they were a year ago at 0-2 and looking just like they didn't even know what they were doing. Now it's like they have a clue. And I really think they hit on Carson Wentz. I really do. And I hope, as all Eagles fans, hope that they did. And I think they also hit on Doug Pederson. I do. I had a good feeling about him after he brought in Jim Schwartz. It's like the first decision he made. I want a solid defensive coordinator here. Let's build this defense too. Love that move. I really think they got a good one. And again, time will tell. Time will tell. But I think they got a good one in Peterson. I think they got a good one in Wentz. This defense is growing. They're competing week to week. They're not, sucking for air because they're on the field so long anymore. I love that. I love everything that they've done so far. I'm excited. I'm excited for these games every week now. It gives new vigor to it. You must excuse my happiness. It's not gonna be like this every week. There will be games, which won't go our way, and but I see the progress, and that's all I wanted to see out of this team after last season: progress and compete. And that's exactly what they've shown us through the first 2 games. Hey, the Eagles are 2-0. Eagle Nation, we're in first place, tied with the Giants in the NFC East. Dallas fans, we're still ahead of you. Boy, you better hope you beat the Bears. Not that there's any pressure or anything. Common opponent. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it. I've yacked on here for almost a half hour. Eagles win. They beat the Bears 29-14. looking good yet again. And now, big game, right? One of those kind of, you know, what you call it, the one of those kind of test games, kind of see where you really are type of games here against the Steelers in the Battle of Pennsylvania in Philly. So the Eagles-Steelers will do battle on Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff. Looking forward to it. Remember, the Eagles own the Steelers in Philly, so let's keep that going. Let's keep this winning thing going. This is pretty cool. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for Mighty Fan for Week 2, going into Week 3, Season 3, Season of the Fan, Philadelphia Eagles. So far, so good for Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson and the Eagles so far. They're doing good. You guys are looking great. Keep it up. Keep competing. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for me for now. But I'll see you in the next one. As always, go Birds, and I'll see you then. All right.